Welcome to the huntFishTravel podcast, the first and longest running female hosted hunting podcast. When she's not tiptoeing across 10 inches of hard water searching for the perfect place to ice fish, she's helping you navigate your trip of a lifetime. And now, here's your hostess, Carrie Zilka.
Welcome to the huntFishTravel podcast. I'm your hostess, Carrie Zilka. This week we're talking to my buddy Trent Marsh about his Hawaiian fishing trip. Trent and I share a love of Hawaii and sushi that is unmatched by any of my other friends. So I was excited to get him on the show and hear about his fishing trip. It's a short, fun interview that I hope you will enjoy. The show notes for this episode can be found on the website, huntfishtravel.net, under the show tab. You can also find huntFishTravel on the Outdoor Podcast channel every Wednesday. Brand new episode from a different outdoor podcast every single day, all on one single RSS feed. If you haven't told your friends about the huntFishTravel podcast, I would love it if you did just that, because let's face it, a lot of people don't even know what a podcast is. So I need your help to educate them and let them know about the awesome shows out there. Word of mouth endorsements by you means so much more to me than a Facebook ad. So if you like my show, please tell your friends about it. This episode is brought to you by Real Avid. If you haven't found anything for Father's Day yet, I highly recommend going to realavid.com and checking out their products. I've been working with them for years. We've done lots of interviews with them way before they started advertising on the show. So you know I'm a true believer, and you know I'm picky. One of their best sellers is the AR-15 tool. It's a handy little all-in-one tool that helps remove carbon, it helps make repairs, it reduces malfunctions, and also helps customize or even makes reassembly super fast and easy. It retails for about $50, and you can find it pretty much anywhere, including Walmart and Amazon. Where have I been? So the last few weeks, I've had the pleasure of guesting on a few podcasts. And if you're into ATVs or mudding in general, and you don't listen to the Muddy Mike podcast, stop what you're doing, go find them on iTunes or Stitcher Radio, and subscribe. I was honored and flattered to be a guest on episode 42. We chatted about the podcast, of course. We talked a bit about science fiction, podcasting in general, and the host was appalled to find out that I was a Bigfoot non-believer. I highly recommend following them on both Instagram. It's @muddy_microphone. On Twitter, they're @muddymicrophone. And of course, Facebook.com/muddymikepodcast. We have on the line super special co-host Trent Marsh, and we're going to talk about his recent trip to Hawaii. Well, I guess not that recent. It was like, 7 months ago, 8 months ago?
Actually longer than that. It was last June. So I guess, 8, 9 months. That's too long.
I know, right? No kidding. He has a familiar voice. I will link in the show notes the episodes that he has been on before. But why don't we just jump right into it? Why did you choose Hawaii for your vacation this past June?
Well, we got married. My wife and I got married on Maui 5 years ago. So our 5-year anniversary, we decided to go back because in my previous employment, I was traveling often, and it was always work travel. In the last couple of years, we'd taken kind of like our nerdy historical museum vacations, and I basically said, okay, for our 5-year, we need to go somewhere where there's a beach and snorkeling and nothing else, and that's all I want to do all day. So with it being our 5-year, and because I just needed beach time, we decided to give the Big Island a shot.
That is cool. As a fellow big fan of the Hawaiian Islands, the Big Island is one that we have not visited. How would you compare it, compared to Maui? Because, as everybody knows, we've both been to Maui. We both loved it, I think. But because my favorite island is Kauai, hands down. But I've never been to the Big Island, so how does it compare?
Maui, you've got Wahoo, which has Pearl Harbor and everything, which is kind of as close to Florida you're going to get in Hawaii, just being crazy busy and very touristy. Maui still gives you all the amenities that you would want and has some of that tourism stuff going on, but isn't as built up. You still have like the Io Valley and some of that that's a little more wild that you can still get to. The Big Island is where Hawaiians live.
Yeah.
So I was there a week, and I don't ever remember seeing anything for a luau, ever.
Oh,
at
wow.
all. It was, like I said, Maui is kind of the place where you can go and not be accosted by crazy, just ridiculous touristy crap. But the Big Island is, yo, dude, no tourists here. You want to hang out? We're Hawaiians. We'll do what Hawaiians do. But, there just isn't all that other touristy crap. It's the frustrating thing about the Big Island is it's the Big Island. I mean, you can be pretty much anywhere on Maui, even if you drive from Lahaina all the way over to Hana, and you can make that drive in about 3 hours, 4 hours. It's quite a bit longer to try to circumnavigate the Big Island. We stayed on the west side of the island in Kona, and to get to Hilo which is on the east side of the island, it was probably 4 hours total, taking the saddle road across.
Wow.
The mountain there in the center. And if you drive around the south side, then you end up going through the Volcano National Park, which that was a trip. But yeah, Hilo back to Kona then is close to 6 hours by the time you get down and drive around the volcano and back up. So it just takes a lot longer to get places. You don't have the beaches on the Big Island that you've got on Maui. There are still nice beaches, but the one that we actually found that we liked was a 45-minute drive from our hotel every morning, as opposed to just rolling out of bed, crossing the street, and collapsing on a beach like we had on Maui. So it's a little different, but if you are an adventurer at all, I think there's a lot more opportunity for that kind of stuff on the Big Island. You've got the sea cliffs down south of the volcano that it's like a 40 to 60 foot jump from the cliffs into the ocean that you have people doing that.
That's crazy.
If you take a left instead of a right down at the sea cliffs, you've got one of 2 green sand beaches in the world, which your options to get out to it are either ride in the back of a Toyota with a frame around it and get your kidneys bounced around as these guys are driving 20 miles an hour over a sand dune. Or if you've got a rental Jeep, don't tell your rental company that you went out there and drive yourself. But I think they said it was 2.5 miles and it took us 35 minutes to drive it.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy.
And so we get done, we drive out there, we see it, and truthfully it's kind of underwhelming, but I can say I've seen 50% of the green sand beaches in the world now, so whatever. So we get there, we see it, we turn around, we drive back, and it's like ATV. It's just Jeep trails.
Yeah.
You're right down on the very southern tip of the island. There is nothing for, 12,000 miles until you hit Antarctica to the south. So, there's just nothing. And over probably a half a mile from the coast, it's just an intertwined spider web of Jeep trails. Nothing is marked. You're guessing the entire time, and it's dry and sandy because, again, the wind is coming in off the ocean for 12,000 miles. So it's a desert. And you'll stop because you can't see. You'll stop because everybody else has stopped and there's actually no trail there, and you got to back up, and you're crawling over rocks, and anything other than a Jeep wouldn't make it.
Wow. That's crazy.
But, it's, like I said, it's a little more of that adventure type stuff on the Big Island than there was on Maui. Not that the North Shore isn't an adventurous drive, but it's at least still paved.
Yeah.
Even if it is a 1-lane sea cliff, it is at least paved.
Right. Well, that's cool. Yeah, I would definitely like to go to the Big Island eventually someday. But, it's crazy. The airfare in comparison to, say, Maui or Kauai or Oahu was a huge difference. It was way more expensive to go to the Big Island.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it was, the last time we looked, I think it was about $300 more going there than Maui. But as a general rule, your accommodations and stuff on the Big Island are going to be cheaper than the more touristy islands. So it's all kind of a trade-off.
Sure.
We did a half-day share charter fishing when we were there, and we felt, like I said, it was a share boat, so we weren't doing our own charter or anything exclusive, but it was like $119 a person. You could find some relatively affordable stuff like that. Whereas on Maui, when we were there, the reason I didn't do a fishing trip out of Maui was because I couldn't find a share for less than $250. So, and if you wanted the boat to yourself, you could do you could get it done for $500 to $800 on the Big Island, and you can't touch a boat for yourself for less than $1,000 to $1,200 on Maui. So, it's no different than anything else. Everybody knows about shoulder seasons, but I think the Big Island is kind of a shoulder island just because it doesn't have some of the nicer amenities that folks want or are used to when they go to Hawaii. So you can get away with some different stuff while you're there.
Oh, that's cool. So let's talk a little bit about your fishing trip, because that is something I've never done. I've never done deep sea fishing, and going to Hawaii in October, I would definitely like to take a day. How did you go about finding the charter that you went with?
I'm the research internet TripAdvisor geek, so I just spent a lot of time poking around doing that. The other part of it was Melody, my wife, was going to go too, and if I caught something, great. If I didn't, 4 hours on a boat
in Hawaii. Yeah.
So, pretty good day regardless. But so for that reason, just finding something that was an affordable way to spend the day was kind of key too. And what I found was Me Sportfishing, which I'd be lying if I said just having a clever name that looks good on a t-shirt didn't factor into where I went to. But they actually have a restaurant right in the marina as well. So the way that they have it set up, they take you out, and whatever you catch, they'll fillet some of it up for you so that you got it, but then they'll turn around and sell the rest of it in the restaurant. Yeah. So they're kind of double dipping on you. You're catching their menu for the next couple of days, but while I care, I can't bring 40 pounds of fish home if I catch something. So, if it saves me 30% of my fishing charter, guess where I'm going? Yeah. So we went with them, and like I said, had a pretty good time. There were 6 of us on the boat. Melody went. She wasn't fishing, which there's only 5 lines on the boat, so it actually worked out pretty well.
Nice.
It was pure dumb luck. I had a GoPro with me, and while the first mate was kind of going through and letting us know, all right, if a fish hits, this is how it's going to happen. You got to get in the seat. I'm going to strap you in, and kind of going through that whole spiel. I had the GoPro rolling just for grins, and while he's going through it, he's standing there, he's pumping the rod, showing you how you're going to fight this fish, and the drag takes off, and he's hooked up, and away we go on a Wahoo. We weren't a half mile out of the marina when it hit, so we ended up crawling up to the flying bridge and filming from there, and got the entire thing from strike, hook set, to landing, gaffing, the whole thing on film, which I can't imagine there's a whole lot of those out there anywhere. You'd be filming all day for that. So that was pretty cool. I was pretty impressed with myself, my pure dumb luck making that happen.
That's awesome. So, and for anybody who's never been deep sea fishing, what are the main fish that people do target out there? Like marlin, sailfish, mahi-mahi, ono, or wahoo? What else?
Most of right there off of the Big Island is Grand Rally. There's been more 1,000-pound marlin caught right there than anywhere else in the world.
Oh my gosh.
So it's a big draw, because we were anywhere from 1.5 to 3 miles off the shore, and we were in anywhere from 200 to 600 fathoms deep. So fathoms 6 feet. You're in crazy deep water. So you don't have, like, you go to Florida and you can, we'll do red fishing, or we'll, hit a reef and a grouper or whatever, just find something that's biting. You can't really do that off of the Big Island because there's no reef. You get more than a couple hundred yards offshore and you're in 500 feet of water really quick. So there's not that, let's just go find something to tighten a line. You're pretty much out there for marlin. You're out there for ahi, tuna, yellowfin tuna. You're out there for ono, which is the wahoo, which for the most part they're going to be a little shallow. Like I said, we were just coming out of the marina when we hit him. You'll have some mahi-mahi, you'll have some other stuff, but really the draw, why people are there, are those big yellowfin tuna that'll go, up to 200, 225 pounds, and then those marlin that a 300 and 400 pound marlin is great, but there's a lot of 1,000-pounders taken out of there too. So
yeah,
those are the big draws. That's the other thing about it when we were talking to the first mate and the captain. You hook up with an ahi on one of their boats. As soon as they get that fish in the boat, they are turning it right around, they're icing, and they're heading straight to the market because the captains actually get to keep a portion of anything that they sell at the market. And anyone that's been to a sushi place recently knows that ahi is good. So
yes.
it's something that they're pretty serious about. You get a decent ahi on the line, they're running that thing back to the market and selling it quickly, which as soon as we found that out, how that exactly worked, we found a nice little sushi place that was only about 20 minutes from our hotel. And yeah, the ahi that we had for lunch on Thursday of our trip had been swimming at about 9:30 that morning. So
it's so crazy.
That was quite enjoyable.
That is awesome. Wahoo, or ono, literally is the Hawaiian word meaning good to eat. That's awesome. Because when we were in Maui, we ate a lot of wahoo. Like there was this, I don't know if you are big breakfast eaters, but there was some, I can't remember the name of it, some breakfast joint, and they served like eggs and blackened wahoo, and it was freaking phenomenal. Like, it was so good. Like, every morning I just wanted to go eat breakfast there. Ugh.
It's the probably one of my favorite things about Hawaii being in Indiana. Okay, bluegill's good.
Yeah.
You find some walleye, that's good, but if you, like I said, you get into sushi and some of that kind of stuff, but it didn't come overnight. It didn't come,
right.
It was swimming a couple hours ago. It's the seafood that is phenomenal. Like I said, Bite Me Sportfishing has their restaurant there in the marina. Had a coupon for some peel and eat shrimp and pretty much messied myself all about the face, peeling and eating shrimp. But they also had a Reuben that it was I want to say it was an ahi Reuben. And I'm a traditional corned beef, cabbage, sauerkraut Reuben guy, but this was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. And that's not something that I would have thought I would have enjoyed, but it came highly recommended and it was terrific.
Yeah, that's cool. Love fresh fish. You're right though. That is like one of the best parts about going to the islands. It's just eating and eating and eating, eating some more and eating much more, and drinking and then eating some more.
Yeah, we got back from the island and it became I've not ever really been big on teriyaki, and I came to realize it's because I've never had Hawaiian teriyaki skirt steak.
Yeah. So
pretty much upon my arrival back home, I was setting out to make my own homemade teriyaki sauce became a priority. I've managed a couple that were pretty decent, and they work pretty well for backstrap medallions and that sort of thing. So just a nice teriyaki with a nice little fried rice, pretty solid.
That's awesome.
But not that jarred teriyaki you get at Walmart. That's not going to cut it.
No. Well, very cool. So what kind of tips would you give somebody other than checking out TripAdvisor? What kind of tips would you give somebody who has never chartered a deep sea fishing charter?
Find reviews, whether it's TripAdvisor, whether it's any of the other dozens of sites like that are out there. If you can find somebody on those sites that you can actually talk to about how it went, that's a good thing. Call the captains, email the captains. Let them know what you are and what you're wanting to do. For instance, if you're doing a fishing charter here, if you're with an outfitter, just talk to them about what it is that you want to do. And any outfitter, any charter captain that's going to have you come and do business with them, they want to make sure that when you leave, you're talking good about them. So that, they're not going to recommend them to you if your expectations and what they can provide don't line up. So, it takes a little bit of time, and it's not necessarily always fun because you're going to think you found a place and then you talk to them and it doesn't quite come through. But just doing your homework and talking to them and making sure that it's what you're after, that's going to save you more headache than anything, because everybody's tried to go bargain basement and had a bad experience because the expectations didn't line up. But if nobody's ever regretted spending a lot of money for a really good experience. So just make sure that it's the right fit above anything else, and from there, everything else is going to take care of itself. Excellent.
That's a great tip. Well, on wwocz.net, if you search for Hawaii, you'll see Trent's article, Fishing in Hawaii with Bite Me Sportfishing, plus the video that he recorded with his GoPro is on there. Where can they find you if they want to go right to YouTube?
If you want to go right to YouTube, you can find my channel by searching for TJ Marsh 80.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much for taking a few minutes to talk to us about Hawaii and fishing off the Big Island. I'm sure.
Happy to.
We will. I don't know how to end it. Because I can't really say, check out more at your website, blah, blah, blah.
You just need to have me on again in another 2 or 3 weeks.
Exactly. No, see, I'll have you on after we come back from Hawaii, because I don't know anybody else who is as passionate about Hawaii as you are, besides me,
there
of
you
course.
Go.
Cool.
There you go.
And that'll do it. Thanks so much for listening. If you'd like to support the Hunt Fish Travel podcast, head on over to patreon.com/Carrie Zylka, CarrieZylka, where you can chip in a buck or two. Podcasting isn't free, and your support helps keep the lights on. Don't forget to find the show on iTunes. Just search for Hunt Fish Travel, all one word. Hit the subscribe button. You can also follow me on social media. Just go to huntfishtravel.net and click on the social media icon of your choice. Thank you for listening.